Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. The workbench is of course a mess. I did clean it at one point, believe it or not, but it was mostly to get ready for the next part of the projects. So this is what has happened. I did film another video about my 3S mod, but it'll come after this one. This is a car. You remember the drag dart. So the drag dart was originally our 3S mod car, but I wanted to do the shorty, wanted to do something else, keep it real light, because again it was just getting really heavy. So since there's a 4 to 6S class, and in that it needs to be an 8th or 5th scale car, which the drag dart actually fits as far as kind of a modified 8th scale, 5th scale car as far as the wheelbase goes. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to switch it over to that. I have two cell batteries, so we'll run it on 4S. We'll see how it goes. Things that have happened. So because we're doing bigger like that, we've gone to putting an aluminum transmission case. We're doing that because we're getting a lot more, we're going to put a lot more torque through. So along with that, while we'll still run the 32 pitch pinion and spur, we are going to run Mod 1 gears inside the transmission, so the transmission stays bulletproof essentially. So with this, it's Mias makes this. I only saw it in blue and black. I know green would be nice. I don't know if they make it in green, but I did see the blue and the black. What we did was we cut these pieces, which go here. We cut these off. Actually, it's this way. I'm sorry. There we go. Because the motor would not fit in. So just like we did to the plastic version of this, we cut all that off. It's unnecessary. So the plate here, all that happened is we lost one of the 4 screws that hold this side plate on. We're fine with that. I will Loctite those down. This is just, we're all still in kind of mock-up phase, but I obviously put the RPM arms on there. So we're changing everything over to this. That's great. I am still waiting on those gears. They will be here sometime in between the 4th and the 6th. I'm currently making this. I think today is the 28th. So in 6 to 8 days, we'll have the Mod 1 gears. We'll be able to put it in, and then we'll be able to go out and test. That's the big thing. So, changes that have happened to the dart. I'll bring this into frame here. Okay. So, now that we're running that much, we want to take down the amount of flex that this is going to get, because we're putting 2 batteries in. So, let me turn this sideways so you can kind of see what has happened here. So I put these posts up. These are 1-inch posts with a washer. It raises it up just high enough so that it's the same height here. I also make sure that the batteries fit in. So that's important. If they didn't, then I would have just kind of let that flex and put another washer in to allow more space for the batteries to fit in. So I've got two cell, 52 milliamp. These are 80C, which should be fine. The posts are just big enough for the battery to fit in. And what I'm going to do is face these leads in here. They'll go in between these 2 posts, and this one in there, again with the leads going through the posts. This will sit up here, and then I'll have all my leads going here. Then I can do the jumper all through here and then attach it up here. So I have this space, this void. Let me tilt this a bit so you can see. So I have this void here in between where the two batteries go for all my wires to just tuck right in. Real nice. So I'll be able to tuck all that in, have it come up and around, and plug in. Okay, so along with that, the original Ghoul body shell that we had, sorry, this one here is not going to be able to be used because basically I narrowed this and now we're at 2" all the way, so it won't sit right. Like if I had it put in, you know, it would sit in here, but then I got all this empty space. That's where the old chassis was, and it would sit down a little bit. Don't like it. It's not going to look good, but pretty sure it was a good test. We're going to do something very similar on it. Put that away. So that's the changes there. So everything's Velcroed in. It's nice. I don't have to have any extensions for the electronics. They just run right up. Everything's good. I have to keep the body up here, which creates a thickness, which is perfect because we're trying to make it look like a 8th or 5th scale car, even though we're running 10th scale stuff. Boy, that is really... It's fine. I got a little warp going, but I'm okay with it. Basically has to do with where these all attached. I didn't quite hit everything right for one reason. Oh, probably because of these. I had some, so I show you, I had some bolt heads sticking up, and so that created that. It's fine. It's going to give us that raked look anyways, which we're going to have because wheels are different sizes. So in with that, I've gone through and I've drawn up some plans for the body we're going to build. Well, I'm going to build. So it's going to come up here. If I kind of put the body in where it's supposed to go. There we go. What we end up with is it coming up, coming along here to about midway where this is, where this post is, and then this is where it'll come up and over. We'll have a tab going off to the shock tower, so we can pin that in. We're also going to do what we did with the 3 mod car, which you haven't seen it yet, but it's called Sandstorm. So what we did with Sandstorm, with that, this will give plenty of space. So this mark here is basically here. This is where the body will start to come out, and it'll come out to somewhere here. Nice V. It'll give me plenty of room to tuck in all those wires and everything else. It's going to be beautiful. And so it'll come out and over, probably be, well, let's see, this halfway. So yeah, it'll be about that wide when it's all done. But we're going to do a single level that kind of comes up, and then the cockpit in the middle, a little more like what the Bandit kind of looks like. We're going to do a scoop across the top to kind of scoop some air in, a little 1-inch scoop. That'll help scoop some air in. I got some dotted lines here. This is going to, excuse me, be some trusses, braces, basically a piece in between here that will kind of round, so that I'm looking to maybe get more of a rounded thing, or at least take the, do what most cars do and have a little bit of a tilt to this, as well as a roundedness. I'm going to round it and tilt it, and then we'll just bring a piece over, because this will have a truss in there, basically a piece that goes across to give it hold it to the shape so that everything's nice and even. Because we'll have that, we'll be able to just lean it in, arc where we need to, and have the cockpit, and it'll sit down in there, and then we will cut out. So this will all be a flat piece that comes here to here, big flat piece, and then we'll put the cockpit on top of that. We'll glue all that down. Then we'll come in and we'll cut out an air hole for the ESC. So that's the whole thing. So basically, the cockpit from in this area is going to just be a large air box. So we'll see how it goes. It's got plenty of air will come in and come out, in and out. That's the whole idea. Is it's just going to come in, flow over that, and exit out the vehicle. So we shouldn't have to worry about it creating an air pocket box and getting fluffing and everything else that might happen with that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's the idea. So we'll have a little, something looks like a little mohawk. This will pitch into here, which will be the 2 inch wide at the top mark. Yeah, and then it'll be rounded, tipped. We'll paint in the windows. Yeah, like I said, all in all, much bigger. It'll be much thicker through here because it'll be the full distance here, including the top of that, since we're not doing the low profile servo. So we'll pop it up. That's going to help give the thickness of everything. It's going to look very wedge-like, but it'll be a complete body instead of like a multi-piece body like we had before. We did that basically because we didn't need to worry about the electronics. We just need to worry about getting that battery in the front. Well, now we don't have to worry about. We have to worry about getting 2 batteries in and out, and showing that at when we go to race the vehicles, we have to go to inspection. So inspection has to see, yes, there are two cell batteries in there. That creates a 4S, and I'm good for the race. I fit within specs. So yeah, with this being big like that, it's definitely going to give it the illusion of it being a much bigger car than what it really is. Although, I mean, it's big because it's got a huge wheelbase. I forget what we put on this. This was 22-inch wheelbase. So that's great. It's going to look good. The tires will. I did this at one point. So you sit here, and then we do this up here. So we'll get it on the line. Let's see, that's perfect there. This sits on the line right about here, and this will have to come down. Sit about there. And so that's about the look of it. It'll have a good rake to the whole thing. And actually, I think it'll sit a little bit lower than that. Because that's flat. Yeah, I was going to say this will be a little bit lower. Probably in there, and this will come down probably to in there. Yeah, that's about right. So low to the ground. That's the whole idea. This being the ground level here. It should look really mean. You know, we'll have the wing out here. Really going to give it the illusion of it being just a big vehicle. Yeah, and we'll be able to race in that. So we're definitely adding more weight. I won't know what the full weight is until we're we're kind of done. The body, of course, is not that great of a weight to really have to worry about. But we're going to put the tires on, the batteries in, and get a test of what the weight is for it without the shell. And yeah, go from there. When we did it last time, it was just over 7 pounds. So the idea is if we can keep it under 8, that should be very competitive with that on 4S. So I know that my ESC will take it. It goes up to 8S, so we're only using half of what its capacity is. And yeah, of course I went and got some wire to make my little harness. I just went to the depot and got that. They had 10 gauge, and they also had 8 gauge. We're not going to use the 8 gauge. The 10 gauge should be fine, considering that the batteries have 14 gauge on them, and this is 10 gauge coming from the ESC, so closest we can keep to all of that I think will be fine. And yeah, I think the wire that's on the batteries is going to be what limits us more than anything. So yeah, we'll get all that going. I gotta, of course, here's my pieces to make my little harness that goes around. I've never made one, but I've done the research, and you know, it should just be one goes to a red, then you have a jumper that goes black to red, and then you do your black back out to the ESC. So I've got XT60s and an XT90, so that's what we'll be plugging in the XT90 in, and then the jumper will go to there to the 2 batteries, and you can see how it'll all stay nice in, tucked, be able to put it away without any problems. So that's the gist of everything, as it were. Like I said, plenty space, being able to think about things like tucking in and everything else. When we did the Sandstorm body, you know, I turned it in right at that to get a little nub. We're going to go pretty much out here to the end of this. I might go down with it, have it come up, because it's going to be narrowed. I might have to notch it here, or get some flush mount screws just to go into there. We'll see how I feel. Sometimes I like to notch things so it kind of locks, you know it's in the right spot. But we are going to be able to tag off of the post for the shock tower, so that's fine. Just thinking things through, you know, as we do. And yeah, I think it's going to be good. It should be fast. I did rob everything as far as electronics go from my stock car. My stock sand drag car, I should say. Basically, that was the first car I built for the drags. So as I was going, I would buy some things, go out, test it, run it in the race, see what's going on, come back, buy something else, try to get it a little easier to tune, this, that, the other thing, things like the Castle Link, you know, stuff like that just makes a difference. And so I'm happy with my stock drag car and where it's at, but the mod is the more competitive of all the classes, the 3S mod. So it made sense to take all those tunable electronics out of the stock car and put it into the 3S mod, so that I have the tunability. This big brute The castle that I have here does not have the fourth pole, so it doesn't talk to its motor anyways. So the castle link is kind of frivolous with that, because it doesn't really, the ESC that would take the program and then not really even be able to send it to the motor. So we're not doing that. Eventually, we'll probably go up to the Mamba with that instead of the Sidewinder. Maybe. I mean, if it runs great and everything else is fine, that's fine. Now AKRC makes great wheels. They are tuned for the sand at Huntington. They work really great. You get grip, and then you got to basically tune your car for them to get the maximum out of everything, right? So basically, if you watched his last video, they did they're doing a little series where they interview the different drivers at the drags, and with that stuff, they were talking about the rubber tires being the thing that was limiting us. We can only go as fast as these would let us, and that's true. I go slower on a rubber tire than the AKRC tires. So that's why the 3S mod, again, we've gone with AKRC tires. For this and for the stock car, we're staying on the rubber. We're staying on these big old rubbers for a couple reasons. There's a different sound that you get with the rubber tires, and you get a little, I don't know how to say it, you get a more natural, real, like what you would see even at the full-size sand drags where they're dragging car, or mud bogs, or even dragsters going down the road of rubber tires. So you get that bounce, you get a feel, there's a certain look to it. It's nostalgic for me. So I'm not in it to win. It's not my goal. I have to win, I have to get there. I'm in for the look, I'm in for the fun, I'm in for having my car be competitive and look good, look the way I want it to. That's the real of why I'm doing what I'm doing here. So, again, very happy with everything. We're going to get to doing some testing once we get those Mod 1 gears in. I do have to go get some styrene to start making this body and figure out. See, this is one of the things I do the drawing to scale like this to exactly what the body's going to look like, and then once I have my styrene, I can place it to see where I'm going to get what. So I'm very happy with this design. So I'm going to ink it in, and then I'll be able to then make pencil marks where my sheets will end, so I'll know what I need to do. The body looks like it's going to end up being in there to there. Oops. Move it over a little bit. About 22 inches. So luckily this piece here will curve down. I think the styrene sheets I get are 10 inches. So might have to shrink something down. Maybe I can always shrink the nose a bit more and then just have this piece extend. Again, options, tons and tons of where I can mess with stuff and change it up if I need to. The more important part is getting this bulk area in and down. Another reason why I get the center line, and I went, what did I do here? Gonna end up being 3 inches. So I know my width is 8, so I'll be able to get that whole flat top piece in one piece, which is what I want. I know I can't go any wider than 8 on that. So there's going to be a more expensive body because I'm going to need a lot more sheets. One for there. I'm going to do the under part, the wings that come out here. Maybe I don't need to. We'll see. I might do an under pan under here. Now maybe I don't because I'm going to have those wires. We'll play with it. Definitely going to play with it. But yeah, that's the whole idea of this. Have a flat pan, and then this cockpit just sits on top. It's merely an air box, and again we'll cut out a hole underneath for the fan. For the ESC, we got plenty. You can basically cut a 2x2 square over the ESC, which is plenty to give it air and even airflow over. The fan never turns on these. I haven't run it at 4S, but maybe that makes the difference of where it actually turns the fan on. But if it does, I want to make sure I get the airflow. Just want to make sure everything keeps cool. So that's it for this. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy, but this is going to be fun. I'll take you along on the journey as I go, little bits and pieces. We're expecting more rain, but I do have basically a month to get this body ready, and so we're going to get it painted, do something nice, have a lot of fun with it. So I'll need to pick up some more paint, all the fun stuff. Anyways, go make it. You can do it. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Till then. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe.